Oi, oi, vibes here.
I'm DJ Macca. This is Paul Louise.
Hi, my name's Robbie Edwards.
My name's MC Hurricane.
I'm DJ Revels.
Hey, this is Mark Simon.
I'm John Edge.
MC Lloyd
Sarah.
Stevie Wonder. Hi, this is Bob Kane.
I'm Les Calvert. I'm DJ City T.
Yes, this is the JFMC. You're listening to the Couture 303 podcast with J Viper, baby.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Couture 303 podcast. Now, you probably already know who the artist is because you've seen the title. But if you were to look at a hardcore lineup from the 90s and look at a hardcore lineup from today, it would pretty much be identical. The headline acts would be pretty much identical, with one exception. Today's guest, the one and only Stephen Brett, aka Klubfiller. There he is. How are we, Steve?
Hello.
Thank you very much for doing this, mate. As I said in the intro, mate, it's true. Listen, we'll get into it. We'll get into it in a bit, but it's one of the reasons why. I mean, for those who don't know, you said yes to this fucking months ago, but obviously you've been busy. I've been busy, whatever. So I appreciate your time, but the truth of it is, as I said in the intro there. You know, and it's with good reason, by the way. I understand why you broke through, but you are an anomaly. There's not many people. If you look at a hardcore lineup from the 90s and a hardcore lineup from this year or last year, it's pretty much identical with the exception of yourself. So fucking fair play to you, mate, and hats off to you. You fucking smashed it. So let me get your head back in the picture now.
I know, I have to calm down.
As I always do with all my guests, Steve, I'm going to ask you the same questions you always do. So where and when were you born, mate?
I was born 21st of October, 1987 in Arrow Park Hospital.
Okay. Local lad. So what was a youth like for you? Have you got a big family unit?
Yeah, it's quite a close family. Very close with like cousins, and we all live nearby each other. So it was always a case of we had a family-run business, so uncles and aunties all working together, so all the cousins would always be together. And all of us have ended up musical.
Wow.
So it's a very it's a crazy musical family that I'm in, really, but I'm the only one who's into electronic music. All the others are in bands and stuff. So
what was the family business, if you don't mind me asking? Was that anything to do with music?
It was a butcher's stall in St John's Market.
Shut up.
Yeah. It was there for over 70 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's gone now, it did the job.
Yeah. So, what was school like for the young Steve then? Were you a good kid, naughty kid, creative?
I'm nice and easy going, laid back. Wasn't naughty really. Probably could have done better in school. I never really tried. I just kind of breezed through it. If you know what I mean. If I'd have tried better, I would have done better. But no, it was all good, nice, easy going. But music has been the number one thing from the off, always in my life.
We'll cut right to the chase then. So when did you first discover music? What was like your musical influences growing up as a child?
Well, growing up in my family, it was the Beatles. It was the Beatles. It was Motown. Wherever you were, whether you were at I was at my mum and dad's or I was at my auntie's, there was music on. It was, or it'd be Frank Sinatra, the Rat Pack, or anything you can think of, anything you'd find at like a family party, it was on. Do you know what I mean? And so growing up, I was actually heavily into bands, and I was playing the guitar from a very early age. So if it wasn't the Beatles or the Who or anything like that, I was into like old music. But then I obviously got into Oasis. I was big on Cast, the Lars, but where it all changed, where it all went downhill.
I wouldn't say that, but
when I literally got into sort of like secondary school, and I was pretty much the only kid into bands, and everyone on the bus was listening to slamming vinyl tapes and dance music albums. And at that point in time, if I'm honest with you, I wasn't really aware of genres within dance music, if that made sense. So I was just the mind was blown. And I can remember buying a CD compilation in W.H. Smith's in Birkenhead, and it was Breakdown Euphoria.
Yeah.
And track one was Robert Miles' Children. Oh, it just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Blew my mind.
Fantastic piece of music, though, isn't it? It really is.
I know. There's no going back from that, really.
Yeah. So obviously you became a fan of the music by buying the CDs and stuff. And I'm guessing, am I right in saying it was a little bit of like trying to fit in because everybody was into something else that you weren't, or
a little bit, but I hadn't been exposed to it.
Yeah.
So the minute I heard it, I was like, "Whoa, what is this? What is this?" And it became like an obsession.
Yeah.
That's the only way to describe it, really. You know, all I was interested in was finding out more and more and more about all this music. And
so the start of secondary school, so we're talking what, 13, 14?
Yeah, 12, 13, so around that age, yeah.
And how did it progress from there? Then obviously you start buying CDs, you start getting a bit of a taste for it.
Yeah, started getting into more and more music. Then I got my first set of decks when I was 14, 15, like a birthday, Christmas presents, I remember. And that was it. That was it. There was just every single weekend, and I count this as like where I was very fortunate because I got to grow and learn in an environment of being in the record shop. So I was in Freebeat, I was in Plastic Records, I was in Seeds Records, and that was me every Saturday. That's what I did every single Saturday, and I spent all day in those record shops. And I probably did Ian Redmond's heading.
I was going just about to ask you who worked in plastic when you were going there. Was it Ian and Conan?
Yeah, Ian was actually, we'll probably get onto it a bit later on, but Ian was one of the key people really in getting me involved in things and getting me moving forward with it all. Yeah. So, but that's all I did. I've still got every single vinyl I've ever bought. I've never sold any.
So what were your first decks then, Steve?
They were Newmark ones. And I was quite lucky because I put some money towards them as well as the present, and I got direct drive ones because I was made up because everyone had said, "Don't get belt drive." I was like, I've got to get direct drive. So my first set with direct, and I've still got them. They're in the box, and the guy's still got them.
Yeah. So go on.
Yeah, no. So it was just like a Newmark set that came.
Yeah, TT or something they were called, weren't they?
Yeah, I think they were TT 100.
Yeah, they were really nice. Like the actual layout of them was real. Like it was obviously completely different to the Technics. And they were like molded corners and stuff. They were nice, weren't they? Like nice decks then. So what kind of stuff are you buying then, Ben? What kind of stuff are you buying then?
That's the thing. Again, I was buying anything and everything. Like I was buying funky house records. I was buying German trance records. I was buying happy hardcore records. I was buying dinky picture discs. Anything I listened to, and I thought that's good. I like, and then I'd get it home, and then I'd soon realize that there are completely different BPMs, and I can't even mix them.
Yeah,
but I was just a fan of everything. Do you know what I mean? And
so how did it progress from there then? Obviously, you're starting to buy tunes, and you said Ian Redmond was instrumental in like you.
Yeah, well, no, what it was, I was really instrumental. I was really obviously obsessed with the DJing side of it, but I knew it wasn't it. I wanted to know more, and I wanted to learn not just the DJ, but how do you make that beat?
Yeah.
And I became more obsessed with that than I did with the DJing.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say, go on.
Yeah, and again, all these sort of things just seem to happen with the right people at the right time. And, as I said, I was in the record shops every week. So I knew Ian, I knew Rob, got to know Mike DeScala because he was in and about, got to know Lee Butler, and obviously also got to know like Paul Roberts, Quadrasonic, Puddy, all these people at the time who were doing stuff. So I got to speak to them and learn about little tips and tricks on what to do. And back in the day then, everyone was on MSN Messenger, wasn't they? So you could almost get hold of people quite easily. Yeah. So I remember also I used to speak very often to Chris Clark from Dizzy DJs as well when he was starting doing stuff, and we'd always be bouncing ideas back and forth. And there was a whole load of people at the time in and around the area, all learning to make music. So and I was one of them.
Yeah.
And I just remember going into, I think it was either Plastic or Freebeat at the time, and Ian was in there, and I gave him a CD of stuff. And then he had the DJ school in town, and he had me coming in working, producing in there.
Yeah.
On a Saturday. And again, you got to meet more and more people. in that environment, and things just seemed to go on from there. And then before I knew it, I was 16 or 17, and I was doing a remix for Ministry of Sound, and mine was blown.
So let's just rewind just a little bit now. We've jumped forward quite a bit there.
Yeah.
So when you first had this interest in making music, what was your first foray into actually going ahead? Was what software were you using?
I managed to get hold of a cracked copy of software of Fruity Loops.
Yeah.
And everything I was doing was wrong. Everything. I had the claps in the wrong place, the hi-hats in the wrong place. And then, but again, I found just purely by speaking to people and asking for advice, and more often than that, you got it. And it's kind of like, you could even, with loads of other people sort of up and coming and learning as well, you'd meet up on a Saturday and, so that's how you do that. And then this is how you do that. And I did it like this and blah, blah, blah. And before you know it, you've got the basics there. And with you learning to sort of DJ before, and as I said, becoming sort of obsessed with the music, you're not just listening to music and enjoying it, you're obsessing, like
breaking it down.
That kick drum, that hi-hat came in there. Why did that hi-hat come in there? Oh, it's because of this or this, that, or that sound was then added later on. And you're sort of analysing it. It's almost, you're torturing yourself really just by like obsessing about every beat and sound that's going on.
It's like it's a bit of a curse really. Once you, I've only had a little dabble in making music, but once you start to make music, you never listen to music the same again.
No,
you listen to it and you'll hear a pop track and go, listen to that little fucking every fucking.
I did it the other day. Some song come on the radio. I thought, this is good enough, but that vocal should be a little bit louder.
Busman's holiday, isn't it?
Oh, it's awful.
So you're 14, 15, 16. You just started making tunes. Were they under the name Klubfiller? Where did that come from?
No, they weren't. I had loads of names at the time. There was Stevie B was my popular one.
Stevie B, love it.
Stevie B's gonna rock the place. That was the big one, wasn't it? So I was doing that. I had a couple of other like bootleg names: the Insider, the Outsiders. There was all sorts of
in-betweeners.
Yeah. Should have done that, shouldn't I? There was all sorts of stuff knocking around at the time, and but I think probably Stevie B was the big one at that time.
Yeah.
Especially sort of in Liverpool and Wigan and Northwest, and then I started doing the Klubfiller stuff, and it was just a little bit started off sort of scousy and bouncy, but just started getting a little bit tougher and a bit darker. I feel, just started to find my feet a bit more with what was
still an FL Studio.
Yeah, at that time, I was on FL Studio for years. I'm not anymore, but we could come to that later.
Go to that a bit,
Yeah, but no, I've been on it for years, and I've always been a big advocate, because you often get people messaging you or asking you, what software do you use, and this. And I honestly believe it doesn't matter what they all do the same thing, just in different ways of doing it.
100%.
So it's whatever works for you. Do you know what I mean? Put it this way, if Mike DeScala made a load of tunes on Mod Plug Tracker, if anyone's geeky enough to know what that was, which he did back in the day, you can make it's not so much that all the tools are there, it's the user. Do you know what I mean? So
I've heard decent tracks being made up. Remember Octamed for the Amiga, and you used to get the floppy disks with the samples on, and that was real rudimentary fucking basic stuff. But like you say, if you can put a tune together on that, you can do it on anything. You really can.
Absolutely.
So you started off producing, and so was it productions or remixes that they started getting you noticed more?
It'd be remixes, but at the time I thought they were productions. Really, you got at the time just bootleg king remixing any a cappella you can get. But and then things just started just to naturally progress from there, and started getting a few gigs, and but I did find it tough as well for years. And I said, I've been doing this now. Well, I'm 35 now. So I said, I was starting making music.
Pretty much 20 years,
like 20 years, and it really. But for years, it's been very, very hard at times.
In what way?
Well, I'll be honest. I was making stuff. I'll leap forward a little bit because you'll understand what I mean. So I got to a point where I was making, scousy stuff. And here's the other thing: is my mindset had always kind of been just Liverpool or just the Northwest, because that's where my gigs had always just been. And what I was aware of. And it was very hard kind of like getting out of that, you know, up and comer, you know, when do you actually start getting paid, or when do you start getting some all right money out of it, or, you know, and I got to a point where I was like, I can't keep doing this. So I actually stopped producing and stuff for a bit and worked, and it was some horrendous sales job that I'd got. And on hindsight, when you're back, it's quite a low point, really. Do you know what I mean? I like,
sometimes you need that step away, though, I think.
This is the thing. So I'm in the middle of this shitty job that I was driving myself mad with, but I had to do it at the time. And then I went onto MySpace, right, at the time, and someone said, Lisa Pinup's playing your tune there at Greenfields. And I was like, no. So I was on, sat there, and I went on, I was like, she is as well.
Maybe I was on something here.
Yeah, she's playing one of my bounce tunes, and it just clicked in my head. I was like, hang on. If she's playing my music there, then by rights, I could have the opportunity to play that. That like this thing went in my head, and it like just lit this fire in me to like, right, and I just went straight back into it. And then again, things seem to happen very quickly from that moment, because again, I'm on MSN and I'm chatting to DJ Kurt, who also lives not that
around
far.
The corner.
Yeah, not that far. And obviously he's doing his hardcore thing. And by the way, I'm at this point nowhere near hardcore. Like, I'm not even anywhere near
just
it.
Bounce and stuff.
Sort of hard bounce. And now I've kind of just been opened and exposed to sort of the world of hard house and hard dance, you know. So, and like outside, basically the country, if you like, you know what I mean? So I was like, whoa. So Chance Kenny said, oh, what you want to do is, if you're doing stuff like that, you want to send it to that Andy Whippy fella. I was like, oh,
this Andy Whippy you're doing a back-to-back with this weekend by any chance?
Yeah. So he was like, so you want to do it, send some stuff to him? So I was like, okay, next minute, Andy Whippy's adding me up on messaging. Kurt, you know, hooked us up. And Andy said, oh, yeah, I've been playing some of your bits for a while, but I didn't know who it was. So I was like, oh, okay. He said, what are you doing next week? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, I was working at this time. I was like, well, I don't know why. He went, well, I want to come up. I want to do a remix of Heaven's Cry, and I want to do a remix of another tune, Breather, Come On, which was like a big hard on.
That's right, yeah. Euphony, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I sacked work off. Wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So, Andy Whippy came up, and we did these tunes that week. And then the following weekend, he opened with them at the Tidy Weekender.
Wow.
And then
I was probably there.
Yeah, and then the following week, I got a phone call booking me for Frantic in London.
Okay, now.
And I was like...
So it did move pretty fast then, yeah?
Literally just like that. And I was like, what the hell's just happened here? And next minute, you know, I'm on this path then. Do you know what I mean? And I couldn't quite believe where it was all going. And I can still visualize now, like these moments where things just happened. Do you know what I mean? Like, at no point before me and Kurt speaking on MSN was Andy Whippy messaging me, and then that those things would not have happened.
Yeah, it's mad. I mean, I've had a similar little thing the past 18 months. I started doing T-shirts.
Yeah. With
the Couture 303 label on. And I got in touch with some big names, Vibes, Demand, Stu Allen, God rest his soul. Yeah. And then the next thing, you know, I'm in my kitchen on a Saturday morning, and like Vibes is ringing me, or Sharky's ringing me, and it's quite surreal. Like, you've looked up to these people for that long, and then they're just ringing you. Sharky, specifically, he's fucking round the bend, and he's fucking saying, oh, yeah, I know you want to fucking bum me, fucking smash me back doors in and all that. And I'm in the kitchen crying, laughing. I mean, missus is looking at me, my kids are looking at me, though. What? I was like, Sharky thinks I want to bum him. And it sounds like fucking surreal. Yeah, that's what he's like. And so what was it like? Obviously, you've kind of you've moved pretty fast. So what was it like? Were you at a skill level where you felt comfortable playing at somewhere like Frantic, or were you still a little bit nervous?
Yeah, if I'm honest with you, that side of it's I've never been fazed by that, really. I've nerves is one thing. Like, I've never been worried nerves, though. Does that make sense? It's almost
like, if you're prepared, it's half the battle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost like excitement, and it's like I cannot wait to get on. Do you know what I mean? And like just do what I want to do. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's only a couple of times I think where I actually have been a bit nervous. One of them, I'll probably come back to it, probably leaping ahead again. It's like I've done like West main stage, and that was one. First time I did that, I was like, oh, looking out.
What kind of numbers are we talking there?
I think it was about, at that time, you're looking 5,000-6,000 at that time. The first time I did it, but that was something else. But we'll go back. There's a few other twists and turns here. So I'm on the hard house circuit. Things are bubbling up nicely. You know, I'm meeting more people again. So I'm meeting, you know, your Alex Kidd, your Kutskis. You know, Kutski invited me down to Radio 1. Done a guest mix on there. Went down, done an interview, and that was a nerve-wracking thing. That was nerve-wracking. You just sat there talking.
He's a fucking nice guy, though, John, isn't he?
Yeah, he's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet in this game, and he's, you know, I've got big respect for him, and his knowledge and everything on music is just phenomenal.
Second to none, isn't he?
Oh,
he is an encyclopedia.
I know. So, but I said, again, you're just meeting more and more people, and then Andy Whitby started his label Awesome at the time, and he asked me to be a part of it. And I was like, yeah, I'm game. And also a part of it was Matt Lee, aka Gamma. Do you know what I mean? So I remember going down to this launch party they were doing, which was in London. I wasn't DJing, but he said, why don't you come down, make a weekend of it? You know what I mean? You get to meet everyone and blah, blah. So I was like, yeah, I'm down. So I met Matt and we hit it off straight away. And then we started doing loads of hard dance sort of stuff together. And then we're working with Andy. We're on the Frantics, we're on the Awesomes events, a couple of good griefs and stuff. And everything's just bubbling along really nicely. And then I remember Gamma just saying to me, I've been playing some of your hard house bits a bit faster, you know, and me Gamma. I was like, really? And he said, yeah, why don't you try and do some more? And I was like, well, I don't know. I might do it. Because I did enjoy, obviously, being sort of, God rest his soul at the time. Obviously, you looked up massively to Wayne Squaddy, do you know what I mean? And his hypersonic stuff. He was like probably one of the biggest people. Like every time he did a tune, I would just analyze it because I knew it was like, it sounded like nothing else. And then you've got Mick DeScala doing his recon stuff. And I always listened to it, but I never saw myself actually going that way.
Yeah. I mean, it's only about 15, 20 BPM difference, really, isn't it?
Yeah, no, yeah, but this is
not a great deal, like.
Yeah, I never really considered it, but obviously Gamma was like saying, I'm playing some of your stuff sped up anyway, and it's going down well, and it sounds different. So he's like, why don't you just give it a go? And I'm on. Anyway, I'm booked to do Transmission at Alexandra Palace for Slam and Vinyl, but I'm in Frantic, had a hard house arena, and the lineup, when you think about it now, I was on after Showtech.
Okay.
No
pressure.
Yeah, but at the time, obviously, they were still mega, but they hadn't gone to the heights now. Do you know? But they were still a big deal. So I was on after them, and I can remember doing my thing, and then I'm walking out, and I'm walking down the main corridor. I'm walking the other way towards me is Mike DeScala, and obviously we knew each other, but we hadn't seen each other in, you know, a very long time, or we're close in that way, but enough to say, hi, mate, how you doing? Blah, blah, you know what I mean? He was walking down, I'm walking out, and he went, what are you doing here?
Have a guess.
I said, I've just been playing in the Frantic room. He was like, oh, bloody hell, lad, well done, that's amazing. You know, I said, what are you doing? I'm just about to play in here. Why are you coming here? Watch me play. So I walked around with him, and I walked around, and I just saw this sea of heads of this hardcore arena, and it just got me.
Yeah. It
just hit me straight away. You could almost feel the energy. There's
a difference in the energy. There really is.
Nothing like it. There really is nothing like it. And you just felt it. And I almost felt it like head to toe. I was walking through, and Gamma was on with WizKid when I walked in. I think it was. Or it might have been Gamma, Joey Riot, and WizKid at the time. And then Recon was on after, and he was on with Storm. And I was just stood at the side of the stage watching it. And I reckon, like, you know, if you look back at The Mask, you know, when his jaw's on the floor, like, I reckon that's what it would look like, because that's how I felt. I'd never seen anything like it. Because what got me is I'd done all these other, big events and stuff. But I felt with the hardcore, when you were there, every single person on that dance floor was there for the music and there for the DJ or there for their favorite MC or whatever it was. Whereas other events you can go and it can be a bit of a boozy crowd and it's lads
or a bit
out
posy as well, a bit fucking,
a bit boozy and lads out on the pool or fucking out for a laugh or whatever it may be. But in the hardcore thing, that's not what it is. It's not about that. It's literally about the love for this music, and you can feel it. You can feel it in the air, and that's the only way I can sort of describe it, really. So that was on my mind then. I was like, wow, this is just unreal. And then the next week, Gamma's up at Recon's, and they're doing a tune which they did called Manjari, which came out on Gamma's record. It was a really weird, trippy tune, but it was brilliant. But they said, we've been in the studio, do you want to come out for dinner? So we went out for dinner in town, met up with them, and chatting away. And they said, they're going on about this tune that they've done. And they said, do you want to come back and have a listen to it? So I said, yeah, that'd be amazing. So I had to listen to it, blown away. 3 hours later, we'd done a tune, the three of us, bang your head off.
Okay, now.
Which got played then, which got played the next week. Then like HTID on the kickoff, and I got told that like Hixie played it, Recon played it, Gamma played it, Styles played it. And I was like, what's going on? Next minute, I've got Hixie wanting to book me for HTID.
Okay,
and I think you could just, I know actually, it wasn't the first one was Hixie, because I've been working with Gamma. The first booking I got was Uproar. I mean, to be fair, when you say you're lucky, you can't get much more luckier than this. So Gamma's been obviously telling me you need to do some more hardcore. Now done a track with Recon, obviously chatting to Squaddy and blah blah blah, and it's like almost like I'm in. I've been like I'm in, and I'm like, well, how's this even happened? And you know what I mean? I'm like, I was literally just playing Hard House a couple of weeks ago. they're all saying the same, okay, but we like what you're doing there, and it works at 170. It works. So I was like, okay. So anyway, I get booked for Uproar in Birmingham. It wasn't the Custard Factory. What was it? The Rainbow Warehouse or something like that. I think it was that. Back to back with Gamma, with WizKid on the set.
Oh my God.
That was my first booking.
Your first hardcore booking at all?
First hardcore. But well,
Jesus Christ.
Here's the thing. That's the first one that came in. But there was another event booking that came in after it, but happened before. So
right, okay.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So I got the third booking was Uproar, back to back with Gamma. But Slam and Vinyl also booked me for what was it? Summer gathering thing he did. It was like a hardcore drum and bass festival he did, and they booked me for that. So that happened actually before, but it was Uproar that booked me first.
Yeah.
So that was, I mean, what a set. What a set. I mean, obviously I'd done big sets before, like with Andy Whitby and, all of Hard House people and stuff, but that was just,
So what year is this when you started playing the hardcore stuff?
2009, 2010, around that time, yeah.
Okay, now. Right, so in 2013, you launched your own record label, Clubbed Up.
Yeah.
And the second release featured MC Storm. So is this where the journey begins, or is that just a complete coincidence?
No, it started before that, because again, I'll go back a little bit because obviously I've been working with.
We're all over the shop here. I've tried to do this.
I know. I'm sorry,
and I'm up and down before the list here.
I'm wayward, so don't worry. But I'll just you'll understand. We'll get there in the end. Because in the end, so I've been working with Gamma, I've been working with Recon, Squaddy, and then Hixie had been on as well. So basically, I had 3 offers at the time, and it was, do you want to join Essential Platinum with Gamma, or do you want to go on Twister with Recon and Squaddy? Or Hixie was talking of redoing Raver Baby, but with like Technicore, Alstorm, and a few others. And it was tough, because it's like,
they're all fucking
decent offers then. Got on very well with Gamma. Raver Baby's Raver Baby, but I wasn't sure where it was going under the new thing. And then obviously I'm close with Recon and Squaddy, and they live around the corner. So I went for the Twister option, and and so that's where the introduction with Storm happened, because he was working with them as well, and we hit it off pretty much immediately. Because I can remember the first set I had with him, which was me and Recon with Storm on, and it was at Hyperbolic in Peterborough. And I can remember talking to him at the side of the stage, and I think it was a positive. Well, I hope it was, because I remember telling him, I said, "Look, I'm into. If it's going to be," I said, "But when I'll tell you." Me telling him, I'll tell you when to go and not to go. So like, that. And he was almost like a bit like, "What?
You cheeky bastard."
Yeah, well, when I look back on it, I'm like, who's this kid telling him? Do you know what I mean? But I think he liked it.
Yeah.
Because it was like, okay, this lad's switched on. Like, he knows what he wants. Because I was kind of like, I remember saying to him on the phone, I said, because at the end of the day, if I'm telling you not to go, it's not because I don't want you to go. It's because
the vocal coming in or something.
The vocal coming in, or there's just a kick and bass, which I know is going to get a pop in the crowd. So it's like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. Or I hope that's how it came across anyway. And it's like, it's for the good of the set. Do you know what I mean? So I think that he liked that. And that's why I think we hit it off straight away. But then things started happening, like Recon started going off in another direction. Wayne had a few things going on, and I ended up just kind of wanting to do my own thing. So I started Clubbed Up, and Storm joined me on that journey, really, and we kind of haven't looked back really since then.
And is that so? At that point, before that, you were just kind of, you turn up at an event, and whoever was the MC was your MC. At what point did it change where it became, because obviously it's a unity now, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, it's still a kind of I think it's pretty much cemented now. You know, I'd probably say 8-9 times out of 10 it's me and Storm. There might be the odd one here and there where, you know, he's not booked or I'm not booked. We are our own things as well.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But we just work so well together, and it works every time, you know. And it's just, you enjoy what I always feel like. When a DJ, and I'm not just talking about me, I'm thinking of loads of other partnerships there's been over the years, like Gamma and WizKids. And when you get a DJ and an MC that's like, they're on point together, it's
there's a synergy there, and a unity there. It either works or it doesn't. Look at likes of Vibes and Lively. Look at Ian Revin and MC Cova. It just works. They've got that.
Yeah.
It's a bond, isn't it? It's a partnership, and it's a
we can genuinely communicate by looking at each other on the set. Like, we don't even have to say anything. You just look at each other and go, yeah, okay, you know, or you know what I mean, or you just know. You just know.
I've seen clips of you together, and you've got the same energy as well, which I like. Obviously, Storm's like a fucking box of frogs. He's fucking everywhere, isn't he? And you're not much different. You're behind the fucking decks. I love all that. You know, I'm a bit like that myself. Yeah, there's nothing worse than. I don't want to disrespect anyone here, but if you're watching I think a DJ, you're selling that music. You're saying to the people, I think this is fucking really good. Tell your fucking face then. You know what I mean? There's nothing worse. And in the hard house scene, there's a few I could name, which I'm not into that. But there's a few DJs and they're fucking. And it's like, come on, you know, you're meant to be enjoying it. You're meant to be selling that music. And when you watch someone like yourself who's fucking fist pumping and jumping around, that's what we want. We want someone who feels the music and is selling it to us.
Well, I can't even help it, even if, you know, I'm just.
That's it. It's not an act, is it?
It's genuine. It's just fun. It's just fun, and at the end of the day, I almost look at it as, when I'm on, I want the crowd to have fun and enjoy themselves and have a sing song. And, you know, end of the day, we've all been through hard times last few years, especially, and it's kind of like, you know, you just want people to just have fun and, you know, as the old cliche, leave your troubles at the door, come in, have a good time, enjoy yourselves, and, you know, for that little moment in time of your week, you know, you've let off a bit of steam and had a good time. And
what I think people don't understand as well is, as a DJ, you've picked all that. I mean, more so for you. You haven't just picked that music. A lot of it you fucking made. You know, so you've got a real fucking, you know, a bond with this music. So when you're up there, you're playing not only stuff you love, but stuff you've made. You've nurtured that from a fucking kick and a clap to an actual fucking fully fledged tune. So of course you're going to be passionate about it, aren't you? There's not, like I say, it's understandable. It really is.
I mean, as you say, if you've been sat in the studio for days and days making a tune, and you sat there in like a festival, and there's a whole crowd singing it back to you, I'm not just going to stand there and be moody about it. I'm like, do you know what I mean? I'm buzzing. I'm made up.
Yeah, jumping around, trying to hide your fucking erection. Right, so you signed with Twisted.
You know, you're right though. Yeah.
You signed with Twisted Artists. What year was that? How did that come about?
Oh.
You're frozen
again.
here.
Is it breaking up a bit?
There you are. You're back. You're back.
Oh, I'm back in the room. Sorry.
Back in the room. Back in the room. So what year was it you signed with Twisted Artists? How did that come about?
The agency I'm with. Oh,
yeah, because they've got a fantastic fucking roster, haven't they?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been with a number of agents over the years, but you know, I do like working with Al Twisted. He's done good for me, and you know, as I said, you know, Andy Whippy's on there now, Storm's on there now. There's a load on there. And it's,
Alex Kidd, Sharky, Dougal, producer. I've done my own work.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a good little unit to be in, I find, and yeah, that's it really. I just find I like to keep it. I know you get promoters who are like, oh, you don't need agents. For me personally, I don't like to get involved. I just like to make me music, turn up, and not get involved in politics as best as possible, and just keep it simple, and just, you know, try and be as professional as possible, and just get on with it. And this seems to work at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, you're frozen again.
Oh, we froze again.
I can hear you sound, but you've just do a little one of them faces now.
The Couture 303 podcast is now officially sponsored by Dapper Turkish Barbers in Hunts Cross. You can find them on Wood End Avenue, and they do the full service there. The hair, the beard, the ears, the nose, the cutthroat, hot towels, the lot. It's the only barbers I ever go to. Fantastic service, great lads. No need to book, just pop in and see them 7 days a week. If you want a nice sick fade like mine, you will not be disappointed. The absolute best in the area. That's Dapper Turkish Barbers, Wood End Avenue, Hunts Cross. And now back to the show.
There he is, he's back. Here we go. You need to get better broadband.
Oh no, in the studio, it's not the best if I'm honest. So, but sorry about that.
It's okay. We'll edit that out. So we were talking about signing up with Twisted Artists.
Twisted Artists. Yes. So yeah, Twisted Artists, the agency I'm with. I've always had agents to work with me on bookings. I like to keep that separate, so promoters deal with an agent, and I know you'll get some people moaning about that, but I just like to make me music and turn up and play at shows, and I don't like to get involved in anything else as much as possible, really. Yeah. But no, it's a good little team to be with. It's a good roster. So yeah, it's all good to be on. Lucky to be a part of it.
With regards to music production, is there still any money in that now, or do you just do that more as a self-promotion?
If you're Calvin Harris, there is.
It's a bit like the UFC, I suppose, isn't it? If you're not at the fucking upper echelons, you're not earning really enough.
Yeah, it's one of them. You still need to. I'd say there's money in shows, and the bigger the gigs, and the bigger the money, and also the more popular you are, your music, you could even end up putting on your own shows. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the advice I'd say now. I mean, unless you're going to write a big hit that's in the chart and on Radio 1 20 times a day, it'd be very hard to make full-time money. But if you added it together with other things, then there's ways around, you know, making money. So
I think I was going to touch on this very early on in the interview, but I think one of the best ways, which you probably found out as well, the best ways to make it as a DJ now is to go in via the production route. If you've got your own music and that music's popular with other DJs, that gives you a real big fucking step up to get yourself on them stages and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it'd be very hard, and it's not impossible, but it'd be very, very hard for someone to go sort of blow up big just purely off DJing now.
It's crazy. Even skill wise, I've seen some fantastic DJs.
Yeah.
You know, you probably know yourself more than me. There's DJs out there who are big name DJs, and they'll get a ghostwriter to make a track just to elevate the status.
Yeah.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I know. I mean, but then that's just the name of the game. Some people frown on that and they say, "Wow, it's nothing's changed. It's been like that since day one."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's part of the game, and that's it. You know, I'd never look down on that or whatever. It's end of the day, as long as there's good music being made.
It's part and parcel of it. At the end of the day, it makes sense. Everyone's a DJ now. You can buy a little controller from Argos for 200 or 300 quid and sit in your back room and do live streams and all that. But I think if you're making music, you're taking that extra step. You're more passionate about it as well. Yeah,
I'll go a bit off topic there, but it's a good tip to anyone. My production tip I'd give to anyone. And I know this because I've done it myself. So for years, especially in the hardcore, because the production standards in the hardcore always have been very high from when I came into it. So, you know, you've got Darren Styles, Hixie, Recon, Squaddy, Breeze, Dougal, Gamma, you know, and Chris Unknown. The list goes on. Of very, very, very good, you know, productions out there and the level of it. And I felt like when I sort of burst through onto the hardcore scene and actually started getting somewhere, I know that I made mistakes by trying to be like other people. So I felt like I had to get my music to be just like Darren Styles' or just like Gamma's or just like Sounds, because then that's how I would get there. And that's completely the wrong thing to do. And I'll be honest with you, where this clicked with me was in lockdown.
Really?
Yeah, because I just thought, you know, I'm not playing out anywhere. I'm just going to make some mad beats. And I started making some proper 170 BPM bouncy hardcore. And I've done that ever since. And
that's your signature sound now, isn't it?
I have not looked back. And I know because straight away, Ben Nicky's playing it. You know, and I'm looking at videos of him playing stuff at Tomorrowland. I'm playing it. I've had a message a couple of weeks ago off Dimitri Vegas and like Mike. They're playing some remix I've done. And I'm like, wow, this is just crazy. And also I've just... well, when's this going out? Next week?
It'll be next week, yeah.
Ooh, little exclusive. Should I drop it?
Yeah, fucking drop it, lad.
Yeah, go on then. Well, there's a remix just been signed. In My Sounds, 170 BPM, big kick and a donkey bass line, signed to Armada.
What? You heard it here first, boys and girls.
The biggest trance label in the world.
Okay, now. And it's 170 BPM?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You out on Armada. I'm hoping September, but it's not confirmed the date yet. But it is coming out. It's all been signed and sealed.
Under the name Klubfiller.
Yeah. It's a remix I've done for Ben Nicky of one of his trance tunes.
Wow.
And yeah, they're buzzing with it. So yeah, you've heard it here first.
Yeah, fucking hell, dropping knowledge here. So before that. What would you say was your proudest achievement with regards remixes? And because I know you've remixed for some fucking pretty big names, like.
Yeah, I mean, over the years, when those Clubland hardcore albums were doing, and like the HTID albums, which were also part of Universal, there was big remixes flying around. So obviously, I got to remix, you know, Ultra Beat singles, remix the Scooter single. I've done loads of them. I can't even think off the top of my head. There's been that many over the years.
Okay. I've got Armin van Buuren.
Yeah, that was a big one. In and Out of Love. Yeah, that was another good one. Yeah.
So what software are you using now then? Because you're not using Fruity Loops anymore.
No, I'm on Cubase now, and the reason for that was because when I came to Hardcore, everyone was on Cubase.
Yeah.
So, even though they loved the fact that I was on Fruity Loops, or FL Studio as it's now called, and when me and Recon did our tune Ragamuffin, that was all done on FL Studio because you could do all these weird bends on the bass line, which was completely different. So it was just made it a bit different sounding. But I just found I had to make the change. Because doing collabs and stuff with people, I felt like I couldn't contribute.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really know what I was doing on Cubase. So I just locked myself away for 2 months and got to grips with it. And now I feel like I couldn't go back. I love it that much, you know. So
I've had a little dabble with FL Studio, and then I got introduced to Ableton.
Yeah.
And I never looked back. FL Studio is really good, but it's got a real steep learning curve. And for what might take 3 or 4 clicks in FL Studio is like 1 click in Ableton. I'm guessing.
No, but Ableton's another one. Because Gamma's moved to Ableton, and he said to me, "You should go to Ableton," and I've opened it, and I can't quite get my head around it, so I'm just happy where I am.
As you alluded to before, though, it's not what you're using; it's what you get out of it.
No.
You know, I know you. Going back to one of your previous comments, when you're younger and you go to get your first guitar, and you walk into the guitar shop, and the fella gets the fucking £90 guitar off the wall and fucking shreds it like Eddie Van Halen, and you're like, fucking hell, I'm having that one. Get home. Bing, bing, bing.
I know, yeah. Exactly. Go on.
So what, you're sat in your studio now. What you couldn't set up now? Have you got more hardware stuff?
No, I don't even really use hardware. I've got an old Virus C over there that's not even plugged in. Don't even use it. I'm literally just in the box on a laptop, which I'm speaking to you now on.
Yeah.
So I try and get as good a MacBook Pro as I can. Whenever I need an upgrade, get as high as you can. It lasts longer, and that does the job. So I'm pretty much. And the other thing is as well, because I've had people in the studio, and they're a bit like taken back. They actually think I'm lying to them because they're like, "Is that it?
A laptop?" Yeah.
No, but also even when I'm doing a tune, so I'll have 1 kick drum, I'll have a ride, an open hat, a clap, and a bass, and I like a little layer on the bass or something if it's needed. That's it. And like people are like, whoa, hang on, where's all the hidden tricks? I'm like, there isn't any. There's really not. And I say this to any other producers out there, a big tip that helped me, and I think I heard it if I remember rightly. It was from Laidback Luke. On what
does he know about music?
Yeah, no, some interview he did, but it really hit home with me, and it was like, don't spend ages trying to make a sound good. Spend longer picking a good sound.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah,
and if you've got the right sounds, it just works. Yeah. You don't need to then be EQing and compressing and all these other things and squashing your sounds, and just let the good sounds breathe. Mix them, like balance them right, and let it go. Do you know what I mean?
The thing is as well, but again, I don't know much about production, but what I do know is the more elements you add, the more chance you've got of a muddy mix. You know, especially with your bottom end and stuff like that. Yeah, no one likes a dirty bottom end. Of
course not. Of course not. But the other thing is as well, with hardcore in particular, because of the speed, it actually makes it harder because there's less room.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like a 124 BPM tech house tune where there's loads of space for the sub to come through and this, that, and the other. At 170, you're like, yeah. So, you know, and that's again what I think. Keeping my sort of tunes relatively stress-free and simple. If you like more, actually keeping it just back to basics of a good kick drum, an offbeat bass that gets the dance floor moving, having a good catchy vocal and a nice melody. That's it. Do you know
and it's working for you, mate. It really is.
Yeah. I know.
So how did you end up on in-demand radio then? How long have you been there?
Oh, it's been a while now. God, it wasn't. I don't know. It was Ian again. Yeah, no, I remember he started a show called like Hard Dance Heroes, which was like a monthly. No, it was going to be a weekly show, but with people like sort of on rotation.
Okay.
But I think it's very hard to get people to commit to doing, you know, every week. Or people say that they do, but actually getting a show off them is another matter. Do you know what I mean? So, whereas I was doing them, and then kind of just they said, "You just want to do it weekly? You're not. You're only down the road."
Well, you're on Thursday nights after me. There's myself, Lee Morrison, myself, Dave Pearce, and then you, innit?
Yeah, it's me and you on nights.
Yeah, fucking hell, yeah. And it's the first time we spoke.
I know.
You fucking snob. Right, so what have you got coming up then? I know you're playing Reminisce.
I've got loads.
Is it Westfest this weekend? This will be out next week. So
yeah, right. Okay, well, if we're going off next week, last weekend, I've just done. It was a gig in Southport and New Brighton, doing the Castle in New Brighton.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Born to Collide, isn't it?
Yeah, that's sold out.
Right.
And then next weekend, actually this weekend I've got weekends off, so a few family birthdays and stuff, so I booked it off. And then next weekend, the bank holiday, I'm in Sunderland on the Saturday for a big night up there. Me and David Rust up in Sunderland. And then on the Sunday, Creamfields, me and MC Storm in the Good Grief Arena. And then we've got a gig in Derby after it. And then also September's really big. So I've got on the Reminisce weekends, but on the Friday, I'm in Weston-super-Mare for Clubland. They're doing Clubland on the beach in Weston-super-Mare.
Very
and
nice.
Then it's Reminisce on the Saturday. And then the following week, I'm in Manchester at Totally Lost It. The return of Totally Lost It. Big hardcore classics night. And then Doncaster the night after. And then at the end of Australia, this will probably be one of the highlights of my career so far. So I'm over in Sydney, Australia.
Wow.
55,000 people.
Fucking hell.
And it's sold out.
Oh my goodness.
So
I mean, I'm shitting myself playing Reminisce. I mean, I could be on probably first or second.
I mean, Reminisce is probably, it's one of my favorites. I was chatting to Storm about it today, to be honest. We were talking about Reminisce. It's just one of the best shows you can do.
Yeah.
Especially if you're from round here.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just the best. Do you know what I mean? It's just
fun.
Wait. It's a good social event as well, because you know everyone.
Yeah.
It's good to catch up with people. You see people you haven't seen in years. You know, every tent is playing bangers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whatever you're into, there's something for everyone. You know, you've got Lee and Steve Cocky and all that doing what they do. You've then got the Bounce Back Arena. You know, you've got the
Chesney Hawks and the Venga Boys.
Now you've got, of course, but now we've got the Legend stage, haven't we?
Yes, that's what I'm playing. Fucking ironically, fucking hell. Made up with that. Like, so you're playing the Bounce Back Arena. Do you know what time you're on?
Can I say?
I imagine so. Yeah, I don't think it's a secret.
You know what? It's pretty common sense, really. I'm playing the faster set in there, so I'm the last set.
Oh, yeah.
Closing.
Fucking hell! So you've got to stay. So do you drink at all, or do you stay sober, or what?
Well, no, not when I'm working.
Yeah.
It's
a long day for you after, isn't it?
Yeah, but I've been doing it that long. I'm not that bothered. I mean, when I was younger, I used to get hammered at bloody gigs and stuff. I used to literally get me wages and put it back in the till. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what. And to be fair, we're going to go a bit back in time, learning from that as well, because I used to do that all the time. So you get, early days, you get like 50 quid or 100 quid or whatever it might be, and you'd end up going, "Oh, great, everyone wants a drink."
Yeah.
And you just buy drinks and get pissed, So, but then it was only actually when I started working with Andy Whitby, and watching how he worked, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. If he's walking away with what he's been paid, he's doing something right.
Yeah, just don't be an idiot. You know what I mean? It's like treat it like a job, and it's like treat it professionally. And that's one of the big take homes I learned from Andy, was sort of professional side of doing things. And
he's been smashing it for fucking years now, hasn't he? I remember going to I think it was Tidy Weekend of 5.
I mean, I would say personally for me, he's one of the best DJs I've ever seen. He
is fantastic. Yeah, he really is.
He's one of the best DJs I've ever seen. And I know I'm talking from a technical point, but also like reading the crowds, and I've never seen him have a bad set.
Yeah, I've seen him in Tidy Weekenders. Fuck me, and there's people like scratching their heads. How the fuck's he just done that? You know what I mean?
No, I know.
This is before the days of like controllers, where it was 2 CDJs or 3 or 4 CD, and he was fucking smashed it with acapellas and all the fucking effects and all that. Really is electric.
Yeah.
Right.
No, brilliant.
We're going to finish off now, Steve, with some quick fire questions. I think I've kept you for long enough. I really appreciate your time, by the way. So, Klubfiller, Steve, I will take your first answer and your first answer only.
Okay.
You're nervous?
A little bit. Feeling edgy.
Pineapple on a pizza, yes or no?
No.
Most expensive luxury you've ever bought yourself?
Ooh. I've got 2 kids. Does that?
They're expensive little bastards, aren't we? What do you enjoy better, DJing or production?
Ooh. I'm gonna say DJing because when I know it's a quick fire question, but they're both amazing and both go hand in hand. But when you come off an amazing gig, there's a feeling and an adrenaline that you can't get that off anything else.
That instant feedback as well, isn't it? When you when you're producing stuff, the feedback could be off that in fucking 3 or 4 weeks' time.
Yeah.
When you DJ and it's instant and it's right there and then.
No, I know.
Bounce or hardcore?
I'd say hardcore.
Favorite insult or swear word?
Oh, it's not really me that, but I'll probably have to say fucking hell. I'd say that.
You walk into a fully stocked shop. What would be your go-to chocolate bar?
Whisper Gold.
Nice. Salted caramel?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I had one yesterday.
Yeah.
What superhero would you be?
I'm going to go Wolverine.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Building a snowman or building a sandcastle?
Sandcastle.
What would you say would be your worst habit?
Overthinking things.
You're doing all right so far.
I know.
Big Mac or a Whopper?
Big Mac.
Alive or dead? Who would you like to spend time in a studio with?
Ooh. I'm going to go left field here because it's not connected to me, but I'd have to say Axwell.
Yeah?
Mm.
Puppies or kittens?
Puppies.
Apple or Android?
Apple all day.
PlayStation or Xbox?
PlayStation.
What scares you?
Not much. I'm not a fan of roller coasters, if I'm honest.
Funny enough, we were having that conversation yesterday.
No, I'm the person who holds the bags. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What annoys you?
Oh, Myvering.
And what's the best podcast you've ever been on?
It's got to be this all day long.
Steve, thank you so much for doing this. As people don't understand, when you're doing these podcasts, you pester people and you mire people. I know it's one of your pet hates, by the way. And sometimes people say, and for the best of intentions, they can't do it because they're busy or whatever. So I really, really appreciate your time. I really appreciate your honesty. I appreciate your stories. And thank you very much once again for doing it. And best of luck in the future. And hopefully I'll see you at Reminisce.
Yeah, you will do. And thank you for having me on, mate. And sorry, I wander in my stories a bit. So if I took you off,
listen, that's fine. I'd rather that than someone who gives one-word answers. Yeah, you're struggling to get a conversation out of them. So it was a fantastic podcast, mate. Thank you very much.
Good. Well, I'd like to say keep doing what you're doing, mate, because they're really good and interesting. So
thank you very much. I appreciate that, Steve. Right, guys, as I always say at the end of the podcast, I don't know what or who's next. I genuinely don't. I'm recording this now. Where are we? Monday night, isn't it? This is going to come out next Wednesday. So after this, who knows? I've got a couple lined up, but nothing solid. So whatever happens next, I'll see you soon. Take care, guys.